End the show right now.
You're gonna zipline directly into the harpoon?
What do you know about planes?
I know a lot about planes.
Buckle in, dude. It's gonna suck.
Put your hand on the screen.
How did they find out? Who was the one?
This show has gotten infinitely more gay.
The mystical land of New Jersey.
I don't understand how the laws in this country work anymore.
Welcome to the Rebel Radio Show, live, uncut, and uncensored on WSRR Radio. We're saving the underground music scene. Hi, everyone. To my right is Shani.
Hey, everyone.
On the board's Jules.
Howdy.
You said hi. I say, hey, everyone.
Listen, we need to talk about something real quick.
We can talk about it.
When you get up at 3 in the morning to go to the bathroom,
Mhm.
you are pissing too damn loud.
I can't
You
help
aim
it.
for the center, and you need to start aiming for the side of the bowl.
I can't help it. In fact,
This is the third time I've woken up thinking you're frying chicken in there.
I spread my legs even more than the normal amount that a guy spreads his legs to pee standing up at the toilet.
What would you consider the normal amount?
Everyone, you
Shoulder
know.
width?
You know. Shoulder
width.
All right, shoulder width.
That's a weak stance.
Maybe a little more. But I'll go the extra. I'll go an extra, like, 75 degrees.
You're making
know
a
what I'm
right
saying?
angle.
Oh. I'm making myself flat, and yeah. And I'm
angle.
inching my wee-wee closer to the bowl so that it specifically the sound echoes more off of the bowl and is louder. So I'm glad that you've noticed.
Oh,
Thank
I've
you.
noticed.
Yeah.
I've noticed 4 nights in a row now.
Hey, you know, I'm a 4-night pisser kind of guy.
Well, hey, it's 70 degrees and cloudy in Cleveland right now. That's your 5 o'clock forecast
Okay.
on WSRR Radio.
Yeah.
Which is really great because, you know, we're worldwide on Live 365 and WSRRadio.com and also a
I
podcast
was
and
gonna
also in
say,
replay.
and
So,
a
you know,
podcast.
yeah.
Well, you know.
You just want to keep that, jot that one down if you're taking notes at home. 70 degrees and cloudy out in Cleveland right now.
Right now.
The Funk Soul Brother. Would you play that at a wedding?
Yes.
Funk Soul Brother?
Yes.
There's a man that wouldn't.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's this guy going around for making a list. So the title of this, if you'd scroll back up for a second,
Sorry.
is "Man's Disrespectful List of Banned Wedding Songs Sparks Debate." And my initial thought on this was, oh, the DJ told the bride and groom
Yeah.
he's not playing certain songs,
Mhm.
which would be a reason for debate.
Sure.
This is not the case. It's the groom putting together a list of songs that he doesn't want in the wedding and posted it on Twitter and said, hey, I need some help adding songs that I should
Yeah.
ban from the wedding.
Yeah.
And everyone's shitting on this guy for banning these songs from the wedding.
I think it's egregious that he posts it online to say, hey guys, what else should I ban? I don't know, whatever you feel like you don't like.
Right.
Like, I made a specific playlist for my wedding of songs that I want to hear.
Yeah.
If there's anything else that is played in between, all right. Like, not the end of the,
Well,
neither
that
here
is
nor
the
there.
job of the DJ, is to play the music. Like, you
Yeah.
give when you're doing music for a wedding or an event or any party. Wedding's the top tier of them, obviously.
Mhm.
But when you're booking a DJ or when you are a DJ being booked, the things that you get are a list of songs that are like must plays
Mhm.
and a list of songs that are do not plays.
Mhm.
Those are two very common things
Right.
for any like major event that you book a DJ. And then the job of the DJ is to fill in the space in between.
Right.
Because normally you don't get 4 hours of music in your must plays. You get maybe 10, 12, 13 songs that like, hey, make sure these are played.
Right.
Let's run through the list real quick because people are saying that this guy's a buzzkill.
I think it's just so crazy that they're using the term disrespectful list.
Yeah.
Like, this groom's disrespectful list of his banned wedding songs.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. This guy seems like he has kind of shitty taste for a party. However, let's run through the list he
Yeah.
has so far. Anything by Oasis,
Mm-hmm.
Angels by Robbie Williams, Sex on Fire by Kings of Leon, Sweet Child of Mine, Guns N' Roses, Mr. Brightside, The Killers. That one's gonna upset the white folk.
Yeah.
Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond, also gonna upset the white folk.
Equally.
Yeah. Eye of the Tiger by Survivor, Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson,
Yeah.
Happy by Pharrell Williams,
Yeah.
Dance Monkey.
Oh.
I don't know if I know Dance. Oh, yeah, I just know
Fortnite
that from
emo?
Fortnite.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Wow, you must play a lot of Fortnite, man.
I must play a lot of Fortnite.
Couldn't be me.
Yeah, no, it couldn't be. I Got a Feeling by the Black Eyed Peas, Don't Stop Me Now by Queen, and We Are the Champions by Queen.
I like Don't Stop Me Now.
Don't
I feel
really
like-
stop me.
Yeah.
Nah,
At a
but is
wedding.
it a wedding song?
That's my
I'm
big
having a
thing.
good time. Yeah.
Half of these are and half of these aren't wedding songs.
Right.
So there's also people that chime in the comments that did help
Mm-hmm.
or quote unquote help add things, which
Yeah.
are equally as abhorrent. And I don't know if they're like just adding on to the meme of it.
Yeah.
But some of the recommended ones to ban are "Come On Eileen," "Dancing in the Moonlight," and "I'm in the Mood for Dancing."
One of the comments said, "Just cancel the wedding."
Another comment says, "Mr. Brightside's a step too far."
Someone said, "Bro hates a good time."
But that's the thing is, some of these are like typical wedding. Mr. Brightside, I've played at a wedding
Yeah,
before.
right.
We play that for the white folk. They love it.
yeah.
Uptown Funk, pretty common wedding song
Yeah.
these days. Pretty common song in general. I Got a Feeling is like synonymous with
Yeah.
any party
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
have a DJ at.
"Happy" by Pharrell Williams. I feel like that's a pretty
Yeah.
white folk wedding song. you know?
Absolutely. No, but again, like you said, there's definitely songs on here that aren't wedding songs.
Yeah.
Anything by Oasis is a stretch. That's a personal thing. The guy doesn't like Oasis. I'm gonna give that a pass.
Well, it's strange to me that people are mad at him and like I don't know. I guess he's asking for more songs. It's just weird. This whole situation is weird to me. I just went through this process and like never in my mind was it like, let me ask my friends
Yeah.
what songs I shouldn't play
Yeah.
at my wedding.
Usually it's the other way around.
Yeah, usually people tell, and like that even is something that we did. Is like we
yeah,
had
you
a
guys did song requests
right.
on RSVPs.
We had a song request tab, so like
Which is a crazy idea. That's a good idea.
it's fun. It's cool.
Like
We're gonna-
as you're RSVPing, making sure, and it helps
Yeah.
the DJ or whatever the song curation too is with.
Yeah.
Okay, make sure these are in there.
Right. Yeah, no, I think just the whole, like, we didn't have any songs that were banned because we made our list of, like, we made our wedding playlist pretty long.
We have banned artists for ours,
Yeah,
like Bob
That's
Dylan.
fair. I think that's fair.
yeah, no,
The
and I think,
Beatles.
and again, I think that's a common thing. Is like there will be usually a handful of songs and a handful of artists that are on the don't playlist.
And I think, yeah, it's something where if me or my fiance thought, like, we shouldn't have this song on
Yeah.
there, or we shouldn't have this, we don't like this vibe, then it wouldn't be it shouldn't be a problem to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, like that's our decision, that's your decision, that's a personal, and it shouldn't. I think the fact of making it public on Twitter is like
It's a
Yeah.
little silly.
right
Because again, it
silly.
should be the other way around. Of like,
Right.
hey, what are some good recommendations
Right.
for a wedding?
What songs should I play at my wedding? That's something that I would tweet out or whatever. You know, like
The part that got me is at the end of this article here on Daily Mail. There's a section where quote unquote professionals chime in, and
Yeah.
Herbert Holler, who is apparently dubbed the best DJ in New York,
okay.
told Daily Mail that commonly rejected artists include Bruno Mars and Drake.
Hmm.
Which, I'll say this, I'm literally a professional DJ.
Mhm.
That's what I DJ'd 3 different events in the past month.
Right.
One of them being a wedding.
Right.
I can tell you every wedding I've DJ'd, Drake has been on the like request list of must plays. At least a song by Drake.
Yeah.
Typically Bruno Mars is too.
Yeah.
So I don't know where the hell this guy's getting his fact from.
I just think I don't know, we're putting too much pressure on the band songs and not enough pressure on I like this song. This
Yeah.
is a good dancey song. This is like why don't you guys focus on that? What songs should we be playing at the wedding? And like I think it's more a testament of this is a song. These are a list of songs that I feel have been overplayed at weddings. What are some refreshing songs? Let's refresh this list. You
Like
know?
I don't want Sweet Child of Mine played.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Who wants to hear? Then again, that's not a wedding song, too. Like it's one thing if someone comes up and makes a request and is like, "Hey, can you play Sweet Child of Mine?"
Yeah, sure.
That's why this list exists.
Sure. If I'm at my wedding or something, and I hear like "Eye of the Tiger,"
Yeah, that's a crazy one.
I'm gonna go up to the DJ and be like, "All right, so someone requested this, right?
Yeah.
Because that's not something that you would play
Yeah.
at a
Yeah.
wedding regularly."
And you would hope
know?
that your wedding DJ would understand what are wedding songs and what's not.
Exactly. Yeah, very interesting. It's almost like this person's being a negative Nancy.
Yeah, a
feels
little
like
bit.
feels like you're being a negative Nancy, dude. You're about to get married. This is gonna be
You think
fun.
anyone's requesting that Fortnite song, the dance song?
Oh yeah.
You think someone's going
It's
to
a-
request that at a wedding?
Dude, that song is so
At a
popular.
wedding?
That song is so popular it became a dance on Fortnite. I mean, that's my frame of reference. That song is so popular.
This guy must love The Weeknd. Let me tell you that much.
Dance monkey. Yeah, like Happy by Uptown Happy by Uptown Funk. Happy by
That's the one.
Pharrell Williams and Uptown Funk. Both of those songs would not play I'm totally okay with being like, yeah, DJ, ban those. I still could do that. I'm
Yeah.
in the time frame where
Yeah.
I could, but like,
But
just,
those make sense on this list. Like I could see those
Yeah.
as a DJ. I could see those being good filler songs. Like
Mhm.
here's the 25 songs that are must plays. Right.
Mhm.
My job as a DJ then is to number one abide by the list of don't plays
Yes.
for people requesting.
right.
And then fill in the other 5 hours of music of, okay, here's my 25 songs. What am I going to play for the other, 4.5 hours?
Mm.
And as a DJ, those are probably songs I'd throw in there if I wasn't told, okay, people like Uptown
Right.
Funk, I'll throw Uptown Funk in there. It's an
Right.
easy dance song.
I have a question then for you as a DJ.
Yeah.
If there's a song, say, Mr. Brightside is on your band list,
Sure.
and you're doing a wedding,
Sure.
it's a big wedding, and someone comes up and it's like, hey, I need to request Mr. Brightside. Like, I want to hear Mr. Brightside.
Yeah.
What do you do?
No.
No?
Yeah, I tell them no. Sorry, can't do that one. That's something that's happened a lot.
Okay. Okay.
And again, that is part of your job as the DJ. Is
Right. I can't do that one.
I'm not allowed to do this. I'm
Right.
telling you no.
Right.
And I guess that's something people kind of overlook when they book a
okay.
DJ. Is I can give you an example. Very recently, I had a very small do not playlist.
Mm-hmm.
It was like maybe 5 artists or
Sure.
like 5 songs, not even artists. And one of the songs on there was "Can't Help Falling in Love" by
Mhm.
Elvis. It was like the top song on the do not playlist.
Mm-hmm.
And I had not only a request for it, I had someone want to physically play it and
Oh.
plan to play it, and I had to tell them we got to change that. You got to get with the bridal party. You got to get with
Yeah.
someone and clear this because I am not allowed to play this. And
I
I'm
will
not gonna,
smash your guitar.
I'm like, I'm not going to turn on the board or the mic if this is the song you're doing because I can't do that without permission.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, no, that's
Interesting.
why you have a banned songs list.
Interesting.
I just think it's funny that they're putting like "We Are the Champions" on. At what wedding have you heard "We Are the
yeah,
Champions"?
right.
I
Right.
feel like that's an unnecessary step.
Exactly.
I'm not going to put NWA on my band artists lists because I don't expect the DJ at my wedding to play NWA.
Right.
No,
right,
I'd probably
right.
love it.
It'd be sick.
No one else would.
It'd be a great time. Yeah.
Fuck the Police comes on and everyone's just
Right.
real concerned other than me.
No, this is great, guys. Yeah.
Why is no one dancing?
I think that just. I mean, okay. I think maybe for the specific bride and groom, the band list could be important.
hmm
Different types of weddings, different types of families, different types of cultures. Sure, but just for me, I didn't do one. Don't need one. Don't have a problem with people having one. I think that this situation seems negative. It seems like just a lot of like, I don't know, silliness.
Well, even the fact that he's going online, that he made this list, and like it's a pretty detailed list. But
Right.
the fact that he's going online asking for more, either this guy is really overthinking it, or he is very not confident in the DJ they hired.
Did this person ask their like, hey honey, I'm gonna tweet this now to make sure we have all of the band songs so that none of the songs play ever.
That'd be hilarious. Like spending hours on like this fucking lexicon of band songs of like obscure things
Yeah,
that no one's
yeah.
gonna play anyway.
Like no one's gonna request it. Why do I need to ban this? No one's gonna. Yeah, I think
Like
it's,
don't play Dwayne Johnson's Pie. Wasn't planning on it, but
I-
don't play Face Off.
Yeah, no, I think like let's. I want to see this guy's request list.
Yeah,
See
I
what
want to
that
hear what
looks
is
like.
played.
Right.
Because it's going to be the typical like Control C, Control V wedding playlist now.
Yeah.
Apart from like Mr. Brightside,
Right.
it's going to be the Cupid Shuffle. Maybe depending on
Yeah.
demographic, maybe Boot Scoot and
Right.
Boogie's thrown in there.
Right.
That's what it's going to be. 216-859-8699. What songs are on your band list? Imagine spending hundreds of dollars of your own money to advertise a massive corporation. Now imagine that same corporation using your money to pay a public figure to sell a product back to you. Unfortunately, you don't have to imagine. Corporate product placement is the monopoly of the clothing industry as we know it. That's where GenericClothes.com comes in. Stick it to these big brand clothing cunts by wearing something straight and to the point. GenericClothes.com's got you covered and lets you have a laugh at their expense.
Nobody cares about the details. Get to the point. With shirts like floral pattern, trademark logo, music band, and more. Once again, that's genericclothes.com. You're listening to the Rebel Radio Show, legal in 47 states.
If you're listening out there in Davenport, Iowa right now, it's partly cloudy, sun's peeking through a little bit. You're going to see highs of 68 degrees Fahrenheit today, 7-mile-per-hour wind, and a 62% chance of rain a little out in the evening.
Shout out all my Davins out there.
Davenport's the Holy Land, basically, dude.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Greatest place on earth.
Tell me why.
He loves
Hottest women,
Davenport.
finest sushi, Davenport, Iowa. You ever heard of it before?
This guy.
It's like their slogan.
He has two
This
shirts
guy.
that just say, like, I love Davenport.
I do.
What's your deal?
I love Davenport. In case you didn't know, I hope to go there someday.
You think any parents ever accidentally name their son Davin instead of Devin? And
I
then
wonder-
they're like, oh, fuck.
I wonder how many like accidental namings happen.
Probably a lot.
One of the plot points of My Name Is Earl is he's supposed to be Carl Jr. and the dad's handwriting sucked and he put an extra loop on the C. He became Earl.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I feel like it probably happens a lot, and it's probably an embarrassing thing. People are like, fuck, I have to pay $100 when I'm 32 to change my name to
I think it's
something.
60.
$60?
I think it's $60 to change your name legally.
That's really not that much.
No, it's not that bad.
You
you can
change,
do it.
You could change your name yearly, and it wouldn't, like, break the bank.
Yeah, honestly.
If that was
It would
something
make-
you were
But
into,
it's also a really hard, like,
Ooh.
step-by-step process.
You'd have to
'cause
get a new ID.
you have to get a new ID, and
New
that's
social
another-
security.
New social.
Okay, so
Oh.
you're probably paying at least $200, $300 every time you change your
Yeah,
name.
just in like legal fees for other things.
I bet by the third or fourth time, the government's probably questioning you. They're like, "Wait,
Yeah,
what-
you're
what-
definitely on by the second time.
Yeah.
If you're not changing it back to what it was,
Yeah,
you're probably
yeah.
on a list.
Yeah, they're like, why is this person? Why do you need to change your name 4 times in the past 6 months? What's going on?
I'm just doing something, all right?
Don't worry about it. It's my hobby.
Man, it was a lot simpler before 9/11. You could change your name as much as you wanted. In that right shape. Police say a pair of New York subway trains.
Go ahead. No. Hee-haw about my misspelled name on my birth certificate. It's all fun and gander in the world of style.
Fun and gander.
You heard me.
I'm more of a fun and goose kind of guy myself.
Well, you know,
It's a little sillier.
in cowboy land, that's not what we say.
Yeah. How many cowboys named Shape do you know?
Oh,
Police say a pair took a New York subway
being
train on a
named
joyride and crashed it. They've arrested one teen.
that's pretty sick.
Yeah, no, what a thing to steal.
Yeah, basically.
Who steals a subway?
They like literally just entered
Me
in
walking
and
into
saw.
the sandwich shop.
They just entered into like the train station or subway station and saw that it was like unoccupied and just took it.
Is that
Intrusive
legitimately?
thoughts.
Yeah, legitimately, they just took an unoccupied train.
Why not? You know, I feel like why not? There's no one there. Are the people? There's normally someone at the front of each train,
That's
right?
what I'm thinking.
If
yeah.
there's no one there, if I'm walking on the train, no one's in the spot. I'm walking on like the first train car, so I can see the head of it, and I'm like, oh, no one's in the driver's booth. Let me
Shane's never been on a train in his life, apparently.
it's called a driver's booth. Look it up. I get into the driver's booth. That's my first initial reaction. I'm gonna get in.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna be like, wait a minute, what's going? I'm gonna say hello, and then if
Yeah.
no one responds, I'm gonna waddle my way on in there.
Was the door open?
I'm
Do we know?
not sure.
Because, like, if the door is open, that's an invitation. If the door is open and no one's in
Yeah,
there,
right. That's what
someone's
I'm saying.
got to do it.
I look in there. I see, not even like through the little window. I'm saying the door's open. I
Yeah.
look in there. I'm like, hello, is anybody in there? No one's in there. I'm walking in, 110%.
How often do you get to steal a train?
Like, I don't feel bad about it. I see. I don't know if I'm gonna go as far as to steal the bitch.
Well, I don't think they. Can you steal a train? It's not like you're taking it off
Yeah.
the tracks.
Yeah,
It's where
on-
it's supposed to be still.
We gotta chase him down.
They just moved it.
Go to the end of the track.
Yeah.
Go to the next stop.
It's
They'll
not
be.
that
they'll.
hard to find.
They will be there. I promise.
I got a good hunch we're gonna find them.
Yeah.
I
Ye-
feel like once you're on the train, you kind of know this is it. I'm going to jail, right?
I feel that way every time I get on the train.
Well, you're saying like once you get into the driver's
Yeah.
booth, and I think once you put your hand on the lever and push, once you start
Yeah, once the train's rolling.
turning the gizmos and flipping the gadgets, I think then you're legally viable to be in
Yeah, once
jail.
you're pull starting the train.
Yeah.
Well, because like you have no idea what the other
That's how
subway
trains work.
trains
I've been to New
do.
York
We're
twice.
both conductors.
That's how we're both also secretly conductors. And old money still. Yes.
You can't even see the caboose on my train. It's so long.
My caboose is large.
Yeah, what are they supposed to do? Get in the caboose? No, dude, steal the train.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't steal a train. I'm under the opinion you cannot steal a train.
Yeah, no, I don't think you can. I see your point, and I think that you're correct. I think that you can get into a train and illegally operate
Yeah,
it.
sure. Hijack the train,
I think-
maybe.
yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, I think you
They're-
can hijack the train, 100%.
They're technically not being like charged with. Well, currently they only have the 17-year-old in custody, but
Right.
they're not being
How?
charged with like stealing or anything. She has 2 counts of criminal mischief
Yeah.
and reckless endangerment.
Isn't this
That seems accurate. I
See-
agree with that.
okay? Back in my cowboy days, I remember train car robbers. This feels like they're trying to.
But you didn't you didn't steal the train. You robbed the
Oh,
cars.
sometimes I did. Pulling up on my horse next to them, Yari, the horse. I'd pull out my lasso, and they'd be
He was gray.
They'd be yes, almost silver. Some would say. They'd be conducting it, and I would lasso them. I'd say, "Stop, you bandits!" Because I used to talk like that back
Yeah.
in the day.
Yeah.
And then I would lasso them.
Not western at all.
No, that's how cowboys talk. You don't
Mm.
know. You don't know. But yeah, it seems like they're trying to do an old-fashioned train car robbing, right, guys?
So they crashed the train into another one. That's how they found it.
Yeah.
They just hit the next one on the line.
They literally moved
Wait.
50 feet and then hit the.
That's
They
it?
hit the next
Yeah.
one?
And
I-
hit the-
wait.
Hang on, whoa. They only went 50 feet.
They could see the butt.
yeah,
could
they
see the
just
caboose.
went right into it.
They're like,
Yeah,
well,
it
we
was
got to
a-
go forward, I guess, right?
No wonder no one was in this train. It wasn't even the first one in line to go.
Yeah.
Like, there was another train there.
Well, the other train was technically out of service.
the one that they.
The one that they hit.
Oh, okay.
Well, this one couldn't have been running if that one was directly in front of it.
No, they probably
think
just
they can go
went
backwards.
Yeah, they probably just went backwards.
So they should have stole it backwards then.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
I think they're dumb
don't
robbers.
know how to drive a train.
They got into the.
You got to pull start it. You got to prime it 10 times
Also-
first.
They got into the head and they just pushed forward.
In every single one of these articles, there's like pictures of these girls, and they have like mentioned several times that they were like dressed to impress. Like she was wearing a pink shirt. She had a pink little bag.
Dressed to the nines to rob the train. All right, rock and roll, I guess.
What does wearing a pink shirt have to do with dressing
It
to
looks
impress?
no. Listen, the picture. She looks fancy.
It's like a
dancy.
normal person.
She looks
She got
fancy.
some big ass hoop earrings. But
Her
other than
hair
that-
is very pink and matches
That's not her hair.
shirt.
That's her.
Her shower cap.
Is that her?
Yeah.
Is that her? A shower cap?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, I'm down to rob a train. If
Yeah,
you
me too.
guys think that it's a good idea.
I don't think it's there's worse ideas.
Okay.
Robbing a train is the least consequential vehicle you could rob. Like,
Yeah.
in terms of like taking over the driving of it.
Yeah.
I steal a car. That's theft.
That is
It's grand theft, actually.
Yes.
Auto.
Grand Theft Auto
Yeah.
6.
Not yet.
Okay. 5.
No. Yeah. I still haven't played it, but
Still.
but like steal a boat. That's theft. You can go wherever you want on a boat.
I think
We're
it's
like what?
definitely theft if you steal a train.
We're like what? 87% water. You can go anywhere you want on a boat.
Yeah,
Car.
you
You
could.
can go anywhere you want in a car. Scooter. Plane. You can go anywhere you want in a plane.
Could.
Helicopter.
Could.
Where are you gonna go with a train? They know exactly where you're going. You got one of two directions you can go in a
Yeah,
train,
They're gonna catch you.
and they only went 50 feet.
Now,
I don't
what,
think stealing is constituted moving something 50 feet.
Now, what if it's a bullet train? What if you're in Europe and it's a bullet train? And
First
you're
of all, I'd
crossing-
never be in Europe.
You're crossing country borders. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going from a bullet train from France to Italy to, and you stole it the whole time. Could they call from one country to another and be like, oh, yeah, and then the other state would be like, country, excuse me, they'd be like, oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't think you could ever.
They turn into Adam Sandler.
Oh God, I'd want to be on the train then. I don't think you could ever get away with stealing a train because you always know where it's going. Like there is no good end game in taking a train.
Yeah.
Other than like, and I agree with these two. Of, well, it's here. When else are we gonna get to move a train?
Yeah.
I would move the train 50 feet. That's a good intrusive thought.
The interim president of the New York
I
City
agree.
Transit Authority was like, I don't even know how they got on the train or how they knew how to move it.
It's probably not that hard. Yeah.
Just like starting a lawnmower, guys. You ever start a leaf blower? You can start a train.
Yeah, I feel like they probably just pulled the lever forward.
This is a lot less of a crime than if you were like the kid on the train tracks pulling the thing that moved the train tracks.
What do you?
Oh, the
the
rail
switch
changer
track?
thing?
Yeah, the switcher. If you're pulling like the switch to like change the direction a train is going,
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot more consequential than this.
Yes, I concur.
Because then you're changing the path of
Changing
a train.
course of history.
Yeah. you're
From what the vice president
butterfly effect.
From what the interim president of the transit authority said, that this train wasn't even on the active track.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Like this couldn't have been a train that was ready to go.
So this train wasn't even on the active track, and the train in front of it was also out of commission.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, they probably had to sneak somewhere to even get on this train.
Yeah.
Double illegal. You're going to double jail, motherfucker.
Well, as soon as they crashed it, they both ran.
How do they only have one of them? Why do they only have one of them in custody?
And
They
it's
have
the-
pictures
the
of both of
minor.
them. God,
yeah.
what a great way to go to juvie. Stole a train. 216-859-8699. Let me know if you want to steal a train.
Cigarettes. He's out in the car, listening to the Rebel Radio Show.
Hang on, I'm not ready. The weather in Shreveport, Louisiana is 82 degrees Fahrenheit.
Shreveport.
Shreveport. Yeah.
Oh, and what's next?
It's part of the hayride circuit.
Goopy Loopy Port.
Well, if you're
Nantucket.
listen,
Yeah, sure.
You got 9-mile-per-hour winds right now. Humidity is about a 64%. It's partly cloudy. Going to clear up later on in the afternoon. Tomorrow you're looking at also partly cloudy with a high of 87.
What is this bit?
It's the weather, actually.
It's not a bit, Jules.
Yeah.
It's the weather.
You ever go outside, you'll experience it no matter where you're at. The weather follows.
Just like Diddy.
Yeah, hang on. Before we get into that, before we start talking about Diddy,
Sure.
after wedding songs and train hijackings,
Yeah.
real quick, today's show is brought to you by Synergy Music Studio out of Chicago.
Yeah.
I know this isn't the most opportune time for sponsors, but
throw
I'd
it
rather do it before the Diddy story than after.
Yeah.
Synergy Music Studio out of Chicago. If you're in the Chicago area, hit up Synergy to help you produce your next tracks for your albums or record release, or to get them radio ready. Even if you're not in Chicago, take advantage of Synergy's reamping service. You can send in your track and get it mixed down to a T, crisp and clear. You can also visit genericclothes.com wherever you're at all across the world and get your generic clothes to tell the big brand clothing companies they can suck it. Wear your political statement T-shirts. You can wear a shirt that says band.
Yeah. There's
Ketamine.
Yeah. I was Rock Band.
Rock band.
That's the one that I know.
Local artist.
Political statement.
Yeah, political statement's always a good one.
Yeah.
They got a bunch on there. Pretty much anything that you could think of as a generic version of a big brand clothing company, they've got it. They've got like a music festival. It says on a shirt.
Yeah. One says tie-dye.
Yeah, sporting event.
Yeah.
$5,000 shirt or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you can go to hellbendervinyl.com as well to make your next album release more than just a bunch of ones and zeros floating around online. Give it something physical with one of America's most trusted vinyl record pressing plants and Pittsburgh's only, PA's only vinyl record pressing plant. If you're in the area, they can also deliver it to your doorstep when you make a custom order with hellbendervinyl.com. They're hellbent on service, hellbent on quality, Hellbender Vinyl. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about someone going to hell.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Got to pay the bills.
What's going on with I know very little about what all this is.
Very little about the diddle.
Yeah, I know
Okay.
about the diddle.
Yeah.
That's about all I know when it comes to P. Diddler.
Okay.
And the fact that he killed Tupac.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
So he was like supposedly the guy who set the hit on Pac.
Yeah.
And Biggie, I think too. Could be wrong about that, but
And his first wife.
yeah, he's kind of a bad guy, and just most recently he's been accused of coercing female victims to engage in sexual performances called, quote, freak-offs.
Freak-offs.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So, yeah, he's on charges for, I think it is, sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. So it's like the real deal Holyfield. And they have raided his homes.
Yeah, both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
I have heard they found some interesting items.
Yeah, they found
Like 50 gallons of lube or something like that.
1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Sick.
There was like 750 dildos. They referred to it as freak-off items.
Yeah.
The police
Yes.
refer to it as
I-
freak-off items.
I'm not sure who referred to it as that, but it was like items used during these quote-unquote
Jesus
freak-offs. And they have to have found. I'm interested to find out if they found any of the footage, because like
Here-
P. Diddy reportedly like recorded everybody doing this stuff and used it as blackmail.
Yeah, it says here, this is from E! News, it says, Combs is also accused in the documents of arranging, directing, masturbating during, and often, quote, electrically recording the freak-offs and transporting commercial sex workers, quote, across the state lines and internationally. So he was straight up
Sex trafficking.
sex trafficking kingpin, which is terrible. And, like, it's just something that's so crazy. Like, I was showing Style and Jules a video of Diddy on Instagram Live. It had to have been a year ago, 2 years ago. Could have been, upwards of 5 years ago. Who knows? But he was on Instagram Live, like, flaunting off, essentially, this little girl who he was like, yeah, I adopted her, and she's my kid. But it was very suspicious. And he even at one point says, he's like, I know this sounds suspect, and like people on the internet
Yeah.
are gonna say some type of things about it, but
He
like,
really makes it a point to like say, "Hey, this isn't anything weird, by the way."
yeah, right.
Tell them that this isn't anything weird.
right.
That's
So
my P. Diddy impression.
it was pretty good. That's pretty
Nice,
good.
nice.
But yeah, he's out in the open with it. That's Instagram Live, and
Yeah.
this was at least a year. This was in at least because over the last year he's been either hiding from the cop, like running from the police, or his homes have been raided.
Yeah,
so like this is
these aren't like
years
new
old.
charges.
Right.
Well,
this
and
is,
there was the video of him beating his girlfriend up in that hotel.
That's right.
Yeah, that was crazy. He chased her down the hallway in a towel and
Yeah.
then like dragged her back to the room by her hair. That shit was terrifying.
And then nothing ever came of it.
Right.
I do believe he ended up. This is like a part of the indictment as well.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But these aren't like
New events.
the sex trafficking like stuff is like new information like publicly
To the public.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
To the public.
in terms of legality. It's new information.
Yes, to the law.
Yeah.
In the eyes of the law, this is new.
But like his actions and him being like investigated is not new.
Yeah.
Like this has been going on for a while that they've been looking into
well,
P. Diddy.
and his whole MO, I guess you would say, what other celebrities would say about him for years and years. People who were close to him, or like Justin Bieber, Eminem, like people who were close to him, being saying openly like, this guy's a weirdo. Like,
Yeah.
stay away from this guy. Don't go to his party. Like, it was.
Because that's the only other thing I knew, other than like the Tupac stuff.
Mhm.
The only other thing I knew is people would talk about P. Diddy's parties.
Yeah, and like it was either like a black comedian, it might have been Cat Williams specifically, but saying like, "Oh yeah, like don't stay at the Diddy parties past midnight."
Yeah.
So like I know what happens at the Diddy parties past a certain time, and that's when I know to leave. And
He threw like naked parties. And
Yeah,
Khloe
right.
Kardashian was there.
And Justin Bieber's always there for some
Yeah,
reason.
Well, Justin Bieber is a whole nother story with P. Diddy. There's like because he basically grew up under P. Diddy's.
Which again,
brand
another
and
label.
weird aspect of it, like even at surface level. How old was Justin Bieber? Like 13 when he started, something like that. 14.
yeah, probably even
Yeah.
younger.
Yeah. So like that's another weird aspect of it,
I mean,
right?
Yeah.
Usher was a kid.
Usher,
too.
Usher's. I'm pretty sure if I'm recalling it correctly, Usher lived with P Diddy when he was like 13. And
Oh,
like,
good.
That's that was like how he kind of grew up under P Diddy's wing and like got guidance and help rep in the game from the diddler.
There was a video not too long ago that I just saw of like young Justin Bieber, and
He did. He lived with him for a
they
year.
were saying,
Weird.
"Oh, I'm gonna be spending the next 48 hours with P Diddy."
Who was this?
Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
And, like,
weird.
He was young, like maybe 14, 15.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy to me how out in the open it is, and like the people who you don't have to read too deeply into it. You can
Yeah.
read a couple articles and like understand the extent of if there are celebrities out there that don't trust this guy and are saying like, "Oh, we've been to his gatherings
Yeah.
and they're creepy."
Yeah.
Like that is something that should be immediately suspect. And like it's sad that I was just reading something on Reddit that was saying like other big name A-list celebrities are afraid to come out and speak out against
Yeah.
Diddy. And it's I guess we're not in like crazy high positions and we can't fathom the experience, but it's so weird when people, to me, when people are afraid to speak out against
Yeah.
their accusers, or they're afraid to speak out against like people that they know are bad because they're
Right.
friends, or like I think about like the Ashton Kutcher and Mila
Yeah.
Kunis situation. Like it's so strange to me that those people can't just
Cut ties.
cut
and-
tie. You're big and famous. You're a big.
Yeah.
I was reading that said like unnamed big A-list celebrities.
Well,
are
yeah, and a lot of
afraid
it's
to
because
come
of
out.
press too. They don't want bad press, even though like you're doing the right thing.
Right. And then it's one of those things where, well, if you're not saying anything, then are you a part of the problem?
Right,
And
right.
That's why.
Well, it's like Justin Bieber's been in the news every day with this, and he's had no comment on it, to what
Yeah,
I know.
right.
He made one statement. I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure he made one statement. It's like he was always a good father and a caring husband, or something like that. He said
Mhm.
somewhere, something along those lines. Justin Bieber said,
Sure.
but it was a very nothing statement
Mhm.
Well,
about
I
like
mean-
his involvement or anything like that.
I'm sure we've all seen the video of P Diddy patting down Justin for a wire.
Yeah, I saw that this morning.
So I mean, Justin
that was
knows-
recent.
Yeah, that was very recent. Justin knows more than he's willing to say.
Yeah.
Right.
Like most people, Jennifer Lopez was dating P Diddy for a while there, and they went to
Right. And now
parties, and now
I've seen J-Lo at these parties, and so it's like, is J-Lo worried now?
Right.
Is she a part of it, or is she worried to speak out against Diddy? And like, it's so crazy that, to me, someone of the magnitude of Justin Bieber, who has so much verbal power,
Yeah.
he can say something and it will be amplified and reverberated across the entire country.
Yeah.
well, a lot of big name CEOs have stepped down after P Diddy's arrest because
That's so creepy.
they're like somehow connected to
yeah,
P. Diddy.
right.
Like
That's
the
so creepy.
the CEO of Nike, the CEO of Warner Music Japan,
Mhm.
the CEO of Sony Music Nashville,
Mm.
the CEO of Village Supermarket, TD Bank, and Air Wellness, which is a cannabis company,
Right.
have all stepped down after P. Diddy was arrested.
Super strange. Super duper strange. And it's like, what do they have to do with it, you know?
I'm not saying that this isn't super important.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's very odd to me that because this is the level of publicity this should be getting,
Yeah.
but it's very odd to me that this blew up this big this quick when we still don't have the exact same answers about Epstein and Maxwell
Oh, yeah.
because it's the same circumstance
It's
Yeah.
the same
where they
circum-
have the fucking papers and flight logs and list of names, but that's been kept secret because of who's in high position.
Right,
Whereas this,
right.
like, we're speculating about J-Lo and Justin Bieber and all these other people, and more than likely, we're probably going to get names out of this one.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're
Yeah.
already seeing CEOs step down.
Right.
That's not something we saw routinely with the
Right.
Epstein stuff. There's maybe 3 or 4 names that went into hiding after or had, questions about it.
Sure.
Was it Prince Andrew?
Yeah.
Was the one that was on there that was questioned about it openly. But, like, other than that, it's been, 6 years now?
People have been referencing Epstein, though, because this is all happening in New York under the same
Yeah, it's
judicial
ridiculous.
services of Like he's even in the same jail
Right.
that Epstein was
Oh,
in.
for real?
Hmm.
Interesting. I wonder if.
Do you think we'll have?
There's been speculations
Yeah.
that
I
that's-
wonder if I don't even want to.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm not putting anything out there, but you know
Right.
what we're getting at.
Right,
Like,
right. I wonder.
I don't
if
think it's too far fetched if he's in the news for something else.
P Diddy becomes the
Yeah.
2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be crazy.
People have talked
The
about
P
that.
would stand for post.
Oh no.
Post Diddy.
Yeah, this is pretty cray sauce. Cause like, I don't even want to freaking. Okay, so like, what if these people in high positions have people who can do things and like do that with the diddler,
I don't doubt it.
and then things
But
just
then
go
we
on,
know.
and then the okay,
But we already know.
but
we
yeah,
already
Jules,
know because it happened with Epstein, and
We're-
people are still questioning it.
We're explaining what happened with Epstein actually, and you're saying, well, then people would know. People already know. It
Yeah,
happened. This
fair.
is this
It's-
would be
it's
the
well
sequel.
aware.
This would be the sequel, and it's like people already know.
Yeah.
So
And to your point, I think there needs to be. Listen, I am all for local government. I'm all for small state government over federal regulation any day of the week. That's what the Constitution outlines. It's what I believe that the nation should fund off of. However, like you said, when it's something where this is twice that New York has had 2 of the trafficking and child trafficking cases on their hands, multi-year wide, nationwide
Yeah.
cases with kingpins and like people in high places running it, and twice it's flown under the radar now.
Yeah.
I think we need some federal investigation in New York. Do I trust that the federal government will do a good job with this? No, and this is the problem we have.
right,
We have Secret Service that's shorter than the people they're protecting. We have shooters that are going free. We have all these other things that are happening. Like, that's the issue with it, is we all know, but it doesn't matter to the people that are in the high places.
I read this was just like a comment on some Reddit thread about something. I don't even remember, but the comment went something along the lines of, like, I wonder what it's like. I wonder what the rich multi-million billionaires sitting in their secret New York City penthouse cigar shacks, like sitting in their smoke rooms, laughing to themselves, watching this all unfold on
Right.
TV, are thinking.
Right.
Like, I wonder what they're thinking. They're the ones who did this. They're the ones who set this into play, and
They're going to
they-
get off.
they're going to get off, and more importantly, they're watching this and probably just sipping their scotch and laughing.
Because it doesn't matter to them if P. Diddy's the guy that takes the fall for it, too.
Right.
I'm not saying he shouldn't.
Right.
I'm just saying he's one part of a multi-stage.
Right.
Apparently he had like madams working for him to be able to get the kids
And like,
into-
how many webs does this connect to?
Yeah.
You know, how
I wouldn't be surprised if this is directly related to the Epstein shit.
how big does this web out? And like, because then it's an interesting thing too.
Well,
of-
they talked about international, like bringing people across country lines, didn't they?
Mhm.
Let's think about like the long-term consequences of something like this actually happening. You lose 40% of your media personalities and talking heads Right.
I'd say that's a liberal number. I'd say probably more than that.
in one swift motion.
Yeah.
If we do this, if I'm talking long-term effects, years down the road, you're in one swift motion, you're losing 50-60% of all
Right.
of your media personalities.
Yeah.
Literally.
Major corporate heads.
Major corporate heads, big business. It's almost kind of like, well, like you're fucked if you do, fucked if you don't.
Right.
You know.
I still think it would be worth it because then there
It would still be
more,
worth it, but-
there would be more of like a stop idolizing these people.
Yeah.
Let's make it
But
better than
the
what
country
we're
would be
doing.
starting from 50% of what
Yeah.
we're at right now, at least the whole country.
Yeah.
I think in a weird way, it would unite the country more.
Oh, 100% it
100%.
would. 100% it would, and it would be good overall. It's just one of those things of like, damn, you got to go through the hard shit to
Yeah,
get to
yeah.
the good ending. You
Well,
know?
it's like you said at the start of this. It's crazy how frequently and how publicly this is and has been for years.
don't care.
We're like, Diddy was on Instagram Live doing this shit.
Right.
You referenced Madonna earlier, and he referenced Madonna. And
Yeah.
like, I don't know if there's any speculation with that. I guess there is. I haven't looked into it. I'm not going to sit here and
Sure.
accuse people I don't know. But I guess there's been speculation with her adopting kids and stuff publicly and on stages talking about it and stuff like that.
Mhm.
You have companies like Nickelodeon with the whole Drake Bell thing
Dan
that are
Schneider,
that are
yeah.
hiring
Right.
pedophiles.
Right.
You have
And
Disney
one-
Channel hiring a convicted pedophile.
One goes from Nickelodeon to Disney
Right.
to what's next.
Like
yeah.
there this is active cases of child trafficking and sex trafficking that are out in the open by major names,
Yeah.
and people are just, oh yeah, okay, well that P Diddy's in the news. We'll
Right.
look into it more.
Right.
Like it's not just P Diddy.
Right. And I think that it's one of those things where like the highest ups who have good morals are looking at the situation and being like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like this is a big burden.
And then it's
in.
always like with the Epstein stuff, it's well, do we give up the names? Because then all these people that we do business with
We have
or
to-
have gotten money from,
one swift motion.
and that makes us look like we knew.
Right.
That's
It's
the
like,
double-edged sword of it.
It's like, okay, you're gonna like this. Relating it back to wrestling, it's
Is
like
it Chris Benoit?
no, it's
Oh.
Triple H.
Oh.
It's the situation that Tripp is in right now. He either knew
Yeah.
and is a bad person, or he didn't,
didn't
know
know.
and is a really bad higher up.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like fucked if you do, fucked if you don't.
Speaking of which, Vince McMahon's also lumped into this too.
Yeah, right. It ties to everyone.
Yeah.
It ties to
There's-
everything.
Which is even more towards WWE as a company and the people that work close with Vince McMahon of like, oh, they knew he was hanging out with Diddy too.
right.
And if people are going to Diddy parties and talking about it, they should have heard that.
it's like one of these things that it should have been stopped a long time ago, and
Yeah.
someone didn't want to, so it's just been silently going and getting closer and closer to the surface, and now it's definitely bubbled over.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
very spooky in my opinion. Welcome to almost conspiracies.
Honestly,
season.
yeah.
like
Yeah.
spooky dooky for
And
sure.
that's the worst part is the only conspiracy about this is we're trying to connect the dots as to what names we don't know.
yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see all the
Right,
names come
right,
out.
Right,
Like,
right.
This is all a real thing that is happening and documented, and there is documentation of it. We're just left out of the know as to who.
50 to 60% of media heads. That's my assumption.
Yeah, and again, I even think that's liberal still.
One foul swoop, they're gone, and
Yeah.
we have to say, okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
I can't watch this. Or this show lost its host. This,
Or at least people should look at it that way.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
people should look at it that
Yeah.
way. Touch my finger.
well, there are
Thanks.
a lot of
Yeah.
people that are defending Diddy.
There was people that
walkouts
defend
in
Chris Benoit.
There
They
were
were-
walkouts in schools with people with like actual children supporting Diddy.
There were people who defended OJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There will always
Well, I
be.
mean, there was no proof with OJ, so that's kind of a different story.
You're
so.
right. He quit.
Yeah, the glove didn't fit, dickhead. 216-859-8699. Let us know who you think's on the list.
Welcome back to the Rebel Radio Show.
The gyros at Arby's are actually pretty good. Gyros.
Oh
is
yeah,
what
no,
you
the
said.
gyros at Arby's are
They're
pretty
gyros,
good.
but yeah. I hate that you call them fucking gyros.
They're gyros.
They're gyros. It's a Greek word. Damn
I'm
it.
not Greek.
It's a Greek word. Damn it.
Greek.
Dude, get him to the Greek.
I'm not Greek. I don't go in the fucking.
What do you call it? Parmesan. It's parmesan then for you, buddy.
No, it's not.
Parmigiano.
I'm not
It's
Greek.
called a fucking gyro.
I don't drive through Taco Bell and go, yeah, let me get pollo. I don't do that. I say chicken because I'm not Mexican.
Yeah, Evan, I don't go through the drive-thru and say, I want spaghetti. I say, give me the noodles.
Welcome back to the Rebel Radio Show, live, uncut, and uncensored on WSRR Radio, saving the underground music scene. My right, Shani.
Hey, everyone.
On the board is Jules.
Howdy.
I'm Radio's Rebel DJ Style. We're brought to you by Synergy Music Studio out of Chicago. If you are an artist in the area or out of the area, take advantage of Synergy's awesome services they provide. Go to synergymusicstudio.com to get the full rundown on that, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure on making the statement that it won't come back to bite me.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to try and buy your face and vocal rights.
Probably not. I
However,
don't think so.
There is a company in Russia that's starting to do that.
Oh, okay. That's scary.
This robotics company in Russia wants to pay people, or has started paying people, offering $200,000 to buy the rights to your face and your voice to use in robotics.
You're getting the,
The old James Earl Jones.
I was thinking of his name. Thank you.
Yeah,
James Earl
he's
Jones
dead.
treatment. Rest in peace. He just died.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
No! Remember
You
when
can't
he
do
said
that. That's owned by Disney.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, we're sued.
We're getting a cease and desist.
Yeah, this is pretty wild. So does this mean... So, okay, this robot... I'm just reading the headline,
Yeah,
and then I'm
yeah.
going to go off of it. This robot company will pay you $200K for permanent rights to your face and voice. Does this mean, in the sense that they can use my face as an NPC in a video game?
Ooh, yeah, I wonder what the actual breakdown is of what they have the right to use it for.
Right. Like, what can they use my face in? What rights to my
Yeah.
face do you have? You know what
Right.
I mean?
'Cause
Obviously, virtual rights to my face,
Yeah.
but what virtual rights to my face do you
It's
have?
under the
Like,
guise of robotics. So, like,
Sure.
and the base level pitch is like, we want to make robots with realistic faces and voices, and we want
okay.
your rights. But
Oh
like
my
you said, I
gosh.
wonder what's under. Like, obviously, you have to assume AI in modules like that. You're probably signing your voice and face over
A
to.
humanoid
create-
AI robot that has your face.
Yeah,
Can they create a Instagram bot
probably.
with
And-
my voice and face?
And
Probably.
that's the thing. My first thought was like for voice, it was like, well, you would just be like the TikTok auto voice, like, hello, welcome to
Yeah,
this. And you would be like the auto voice to the text to speech voice, you know? Like
Mhm.
that's what you're kind of signing it to. But
so you know when you have any kind of service, and this is going back to like when voice recognition, or not even recognition, but voice text to talk
Yeah.
first started. You know how when you pick a voice, like even on a GPS, it gives you like, you got 4 different default voices. You can have Tom or David or Jenny or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they have default names. That means theoretically, if you sold your likeness, your face and voice to this company, they could use your voice, and you could be like a generic voice number 3. Your name's Bill on the voices. I want the voice of Bill, and it's just your voice.
hey, everyone.
You don't
I'm
even get to
Bill.
retain your name. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's like you guys brought up a good point before we came on of like, what if they use your voice, or what if they use your face in a game, but they don't connect your voice
Yeah.
to it, or your voice is an NPC for someone else in a video game or something, or like a
I feel like
a humanoid robot, but it doesn't look like you. but
Yeah.
it has your voice.
I would negotiate that in my contract, where if
Mm.
they took if they took both my face and my voice rights,
Mhm.
that they would have to be used together.
And that's another question. Then can you just sign off on one or the other?
Yeah,
Like, I'll give you
I
my
would
rights
do my
to-
voice, but not my face.
I'll give you the rights to my face, but not my voice. You know, like I
Yeah.
wonder if you can negotiate that sort of thing contractually. Because $200K is a pretty hefty sum of money. I would want to make sure that there's dotted lines that I'm signing on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'd want to make sure that there's paper involved that isn't just green, you know?
Because so my assumption with this is the reason they're doing this is who is the one that tried to sue Meta for using an AI
Scarlett
voice?
Johansson.
Scarlett
Oh,
Johansson. They said it
yeah.
was her voice
Yeah.
because they had approached her to record for them,
yeah.
and she said no, and they
Yeah.
made a voice module that was really close to hers,
yes.
and she turned around and sued, saying that was her voice.
That was crazy.
Um,
yes.
my assumption is that's the reason they're using the face thing in general, is so if they completely 3D construct a face from scratch. They just make one,
Sure.
right? They use CGI, they make someone's face.
Mm-hmm.
I think that saves them from you going, hey, that looks a lot like me, and suing them and for using your likeness.
Ah, I see.
I think that is probably legally their workaround of like,
Right.
okay, well, we don't want, there's, 8 billion people. This is going to look like somebody.
Right.
Regardless of how we make the face, somebody is going to say that this looks like them. If we legally have the rights to use a specific person's face, we avoid that and say, look, here's the copyright. This is the face we used.
This can't look like you, turning around on them and saying, this can't look like you because it's supposed to look like
it's
them.
literally this person.
And you just kind of look like that person. So,
Yeah.
ta-da. Yeah, I think that's, you're probably correct in that assumption.
It's still crazy though. I would never want to walk into a company and see a robot with my voice and face.
It'd be so scary.
The company is known for producing hyper-realistic human-like robots.
Oh, why?
In 2019, Promobot launched the Android Robo C, a made-to-order robot that could be modeled after anyone's appearance.
That's so terrifying. There's a picture of a robot here that looks exactly like the person standing next to it. I'm assuming this is like the CEO or something like
Probably.
You
that.
can tell there's a little uncanny valley
Oh,
happening.
100%, 100%.
But it's slight.
Yeah.
Like, this is pretty good. This
Pretty
is probably
good.
the least uncanny valley, like, Android
Yes.
that's modeled after
Yes.
humans that we've seen.
I think
that's-
it's just the eyeballs. They didn't get the eyeballs
Yeah.
right, but
The
everything
eyeballs and the
else-
chin, a little bit.
Yeah, that's so strange.
Here's a quote that says, everyone will now be able to order a robot with any appearance for professional or personal use.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a scary thing. That should be illegal.
This is
So,
my personal
if-
use robot.
If
That
I
looks
had
like
a
Shane.
stalker,
If I just bought a robot that looked like Shane,
Oh,
and I could do whatever I
God.
wanted with it.
See, then do I have the right to, like, sue?
And I think that's where this comes into play, is they're trying to avoid that.
Ah.
Because I think initially they probably did. I'm not saying that people were going out buying robots that look like someone else.
Right.
I'm just saying that was probably their thought process going into it.
Right.
And then they realized legally that could land them in some hot water.
Yeah, that seems like their train of thought. Oh, look, that's Arnie.
It is.
That's so weird.
Also, I don't like Arnold with glasses.
Yeah, those
Weird
wire
look.
frames do not work on
Yeah.
Arnie.
Old Benjamin Franklin Schwarzenegger up there.
It's just so, like, this is too much for me. This feels like if I were to see this out in public, I would start to have, like, a meltdown.
I know we've had this conversation before, but why are we doing this? What does this do for us?
Yeah, I don't see any benefit.
When we have movies like iRobot, where we know how this ends.
If I see a husband and a wife walking together, like, out at the mall or something like that, and then 2 feet behind, I see, like, a robotic version of the husband pushing a stroller with the baby in it.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
And that's the thing you got to
The
think of,
hell
right?
is going on?
So if you are doing this, here's the two circumstances. Either I'm selling my likeness to this company,
Mm-hmm.
and you, a random consumer, are going to buy a robot that looks and sounds like me.
Weird.
Just because you don't know me and this is the robot they're selling that looks like a person.
Right. Weird.
Or myself or someone that knows me personally is going to buy this robot that looks like me.
Equally weird.
Yeah, so I'm going to have a duplicate of myself
To do things for
to
me.
do things for me.
Weird. Weird. Equally weird. Weird on both sides. Don't do this.
Which, and I know this is like another conversation we had a long time ago, I would rather have, and we talked about this when the Tesla bots came out.
Yes.
It was very much a campy robot. It looked human,
Yes.
like in the body structure. It was
Yes.
bipedal,
Right.
but it was just like black and white, sleek metal, and
Had
had like
like
a smiley face.
Or it just had a blank face, and
Well,
then it had like a Tesla logo
Well, it
on
had a digital screen.
Yes,
that
it had a
could
digital
change.
screen face.
Yeah.
Yes.
So like, and it was just like you could, I'm assuming, program a variety of things for the face,
Right.
but it was robotic enough to where it wasn't uncanny valley,
Mhm.
and like it was still campy enough to where I'm like, okay,
Right.
yeah, no, it's a funny little robot.
Still felt like have you ever played or seen the game? Yeah. Yeah. Feels like video gamey.
Yeah.
Futuristic still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is just weird.
This is a little too close for comfort. This is like if you've ever played the game Detroit Becoming Human.
Yes.
It's very, very realistic.
they're like trying to replace us.
Yeah.
They're making sense.
They're
This is
making
literally the
sense.
plot of Fallout 4.
They're
Making
making
sense. I know you've never played Fallout,
Yeah.
but one of the big plot points in Fallout 4 is that there's an organization called the Institute. They
Mhm.
make what's called synths,
Mhm.
synthetic humans.
Yes.
And they steal humans in their sleep and replicate them into a synthetic body and program them to have the same mind. And so the synth never knows that it's actually a robot, and the people around them don't know. There's no way to actually tell it is a robot unless you kill it.
That's like the Santa Claus 2. In the Santa Claus 2, he creates a toy version of
Yes.
himself, and it's a big fat toy, Tim Allen, and he thinks that he's the real Santa Claus, but turns out the whole time he's just been a toy, and it's actually the real Tim Allen has been Santa Claus the entire time. Rug pull on the audience. It's actually
Is that Santa Claus 2 or is that Santa Claus 3?
Santa Claus 3 is with Martin Short
That's
as
right, Jack Frost.
Jack Frost. I know my the Santa Claus lore, all right? Tool time. I'll tell you what, it's tool time. Not these tools though. Get these tools out of here. These tools are too advanced for Tim.
I want to know, it doesn't say anywhere what these sell for.
Probably multiple thousands of dollars. I would say
Millions.
Millions. I believe
I would
that.
say millions.
That's so weird.
I
Like,
would
what
think
if-
this costs more than Tesla bot does.
Yeah, 100%. Because they have to model it after your face and shit
Yeah.
like that.
They have to program your voice.
Yeah. That's so strange that it would have your voice too.
Yeah.
It would walk, talk. Well, it probably wouldn't walk like you, but it would talk and look exactly like you.
Yeah.
So strange.
This is going to be a really weird coping mechanism for people in 100 years.
Oh, don't
Yeah.
even say that.
People are going to die and they're going to get robots made of them.
Well, you know what I just popped into my brain recently again was with the Apple Vision Pro, how you could like 3D step into pictures and you could like walk around the picture. Like it was something along the lines of one of the gimmicks with the Apple Vision Pro was you could 3D take a picture and like walk around the room and 3D get
Yeah.
the entire room, and then it would be something where you could look back on it later, put on the headset, and then walk around in that room again as if everyone was in it exactly how they were when you were taking. And like
weird.
that was a really strange thing to me, and this feels like how you're saying. Like
Yeah.
it would have been used as like a really strange coping mechanism, like Apple 3D Vision Pro, the hospital room that grandma's in or something
Right,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
you know, and then walk around it after she passes. Like that's just as creepy. It's giving me the same feeling as that. It's like, well, you know, you're getting into your 50s and 60s. Let's make a humanoid robot of you so that we can keep you in the garage until you pass, and then we'll bring you out for barbecues
All
and
right,
stuff.
time
you
to
know?
break out grandma.
Yeah, right. 4th of July's coming up. Let me break out Grandpa. Yeah.
I think that's a really weird aspect that no one talks about with this, with AI and robotics in general, is I think one of the biggest things that hurt us as a society is it's detaching us more and more from life in general and what reality is.
Yeah.
So, like, everyone has their own way of coping with things,
Right.
but, like, your way of coping shouldn't be to act like nothing happened and that they're still here.
Yeah.
That is not beneficial for anyone.
Yes. Yeah, because people get detached.
And this is reinforcing that.
People get detached from reality without artificial intelligence and
Yeah.
or like goggles that can take you into the internet. You know,
Right.
people get detached from reality in reality. So if they have the opportunity to step into and to step into like a past moment
Yeah.
or something, or to turn on, you know, my ex-boyfriend bought 3000
Right.
and pretend like nothing ever
Yikes.
changed.
Yeah.
Super strange.
Yeah.
Super duper freaky deaky times.
It's
And like
like-
unhealthy.
It's like people that get their family pet stuffed and taxidermied
Yes,
to,
exactly.
to
To just
the
pet it.
10th extent of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it has a permanent spot on the couch.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, that's weird.
Very, very strange, and it is coming to a neighborhood near you.
I wonder statistically how many people get their pets taxidermied.
Probably.
Probably not a high percent, but higher than I'd like.
I would bet in like the nuclear family 50s, 60s era of America, it was probably a lot more popular.
You think?
I think. Just because
I think it'd be more popular now.
you might be right. I don't know. It just
I think
'cause
people are weirder now.
I think that, well, I agree, but I think that there is a more general interpretation that taxidermy is weird. I
That's
think that,
fair.
I think that people in general kind of think that taxidermy is weird now, whereas
It probably
maybe-
did have a weird boom period.
yeah, right.
We're like we're doing it because we can.
right, we're doing it because we can, so it got popular, and then people were like, wait a minute, and then it fell off.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, my overarching moral with that is
Yeah.
there's probably a higher percent of people that taxidermy their pets than I'd like.
Yes.
Meaning, there's probably a percent of our listenership that has or knows someone that has a taxidermied pet.
Oh, 100%. I've seen a
And
taxidermied pet before.
I hate to
Really?
think that those people are listening.
Yes.
So if you're listening, why?
And
Why are you taxidermy? 216-859-8699. If you taxidermied your family pet, I want to know why. Let's talk about sports.
We like sports and we don't care who knows. Football, tennis, hockey, golf.
We can't play that anymore, guys.
Yeah, but it's still a good song.
It is. We used to play that a lot, right?
Mhm.
Anytime we did
Yeah.
a sports thing, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. FEMA, which I wish I would have looked up actually what the acronym stands for before we went on because we talked about it.
Football, excitement,
Nope.
man.
It's the Federal
Asperger.
Emergency something administration.
Female electrocuted male
Federal
accidentally.
Emergency Management Agency.
Management Agency. Federal Emergency Management Agency. Okay.
Fungus.
No.
Fungus envelops Marshall Acquisitions.
Fear Elmo, mi amor.
Ah.
It's a French organization against Sesame Street. FEMA, who is in charge of like providing aid and notification about natural disasters, volcanoes, nuclear attacks,
Right.
tornadoes, hurricanes, things like that, and then providing like pop-up shelters and supposed to be providing aid for like areas affected by severe
Well,
conditions.
they send out like it's like what you get if there's a hurricane warning.
Yeah.
And like it beep pops up on your phone.
Yeah. They're
That's-
part of the EAS or EBS, however you want to say it. Either
Yeah,
one. Emergency
CBS.
Broadcast System, not part of CBS.
Very funny.
And after the Diddy stuff, I don't want to be. After that conversation.
Yeah.
But FEMA accidentally sent out an emergency notice.
Okay.
And it's not the
That's
first
bad.
time that something like this happened, but
Yeah.
the emergency notice in this case was very not threatening. So it's not like a missile strike or a volcano or anything
Right.
like that. After the Cowboys suffered a fucking crushing loss to the Saints this past week, I don't remember what the exact score was. It wasn't what terrible, like 44-12 or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was a pretty bad loss. But the point of it was the Dallas organization of FEMA was doing internal testing for their messaging system. And they were supposed to just send out this test message to their workers, their internal server. They didn't. They sent it out to general public, and it was something along the lines of, if you've been affected by the recent devastation of the Cowboys' loss to the Saints, we're providing aid or something like that.
Yeah.
I wonder if anybody reached out.
They did very quickly make a notice saying, like, hey, that wasn't supposed to go out.
Yeah, when you brought this, it reminded, like, I was like, man, this isn't the first time something like this is, because, yeah, so in 2018, there was, in Hawaii, there was a false missile alert. On the morning of January 13th, 2018, an alert was accidentally issued by the EAS and over television, radio, cellular networks in the U.S. state of Hawaii, instructing citizens to seek shelter due to an incoming ballistic missile. The message was sent at 8:08 a.m. local time, and the state had not authorized it. But yeah,
That's good.
right.
That's good.
They're fucking up. They've done. This isn't the first time something like this has happened with these people.
I've got my other problems with FEMA, but like this should be a glaring issue that like
Right.
they keep fucking this up.
What's going on?
Yeah, the thing that's supposed to alert citizens of like impending doom, and they're accidentally sending us football scores.
Yeah, the next one's just gonna be like, "Hey, LOL."
You up?
Yeah.
Well, there's the presidential tests not that long ago,
I remember that one.
and
yeah.
everyone was saying it was something to do with 5G. You remember that?
Yeah.
They were testing 5G, and if you turned off your phone, it was supposed to. And then there's all the reports of people turning off their phone and this still coming through. And why was it still coming through if my phone was off? I think we did a whole conspiracy show
I
about
think
this,
so,
like
yeah.
randomly thrown in there. But yeah, they did the presidential test where it was literally just like, this is a test from the president, and there was no need for it, and it was scheduled, and everyone got it.
Sick.
Yeah, what?
Sick. Why are we getting these? Why are we getting these notifications?
Yeah.
Why are people letting us know things we don't need to know?
I know we talked about this 3 years ago now, but I'm still against Amber Alerts.
Yeah, it's a little much.
I'm not going to go out and find this person. You're gonna be mad at me if I do.
Well,
Has
there's-
anybody ever gotten
yes.
an Amber Alert and then like seen it and reported it?
Yes, there was one thing that just happened. I just saw it on TikTok. It was like a teenage girl was driving and she got an Amber Alert and she was like, "I'll just look around."
Sure.
And she like actually came across the car, followed it, and called the cops and got the. Like,
She get paid for that?
Got the
I
plate
don't think
number
so.
and interesting.
she
Should've got
went
paid
on
for
the
that.
news
Should've got
because
paid,
of it.
yeah.
She's doing the police work.
Yeah, should have got paid. That's my crime. I just stopped right there.
That's the thing, man.
You're welcome.
If I'm doing vigilante justice, they're number one. That's the risk you run. Is they can turn around and be like, "Well, you're interfering in a police investigation.
Yeah.
You went and tracked this person down and drove them farther than they should have been," or they can turn that around on you and be like, "You are
Wow.
acting as a vigilante."
But they asked for my help.
They didn't ask for
Yeah.
your help. All Amber Alerts say like "stay inside" or "stay safe" or something like that on them. Like it literally says like "make a report if you see something," and then it's like "stay indoors" or "stay out of this area" or something like that.
Yeah.
Usually,
What? Like, who's running these things, and why is? I guess, like, what would the consequence be for this being an accident? You know what I mean? Like,
Someone needs to be fired. I know I say that a
Yeah.
lot. Someone needs to be fired.
no, yeah, I agree. Someone needs to be fired, but like, furthermore, so that this sort of shit doesn't continue
Right.
to happen, because clearly
It's
Like-
happened multiple times where it's an accidental, like,
they sent a ballistic missile strike to Hawaii, or like a report of a
Right.
ballistic missile strike.
Let me ask you this, because EAS is nothing new. It's, there's a flash flood warning, there's high winds, there's hail,
Right.
there's tornado in your area. The EAS goes out, and the way EAS works is it's not station by station. It is a national syndication, and it overrides your signal. So if we're doing a live show, if we're doing a pre-tape show, if it's music, and an EAS comes through, it will override it no matter what. I cannot do anything on my part to play something over EAS. It will take
Interesting.
over the signal itself.
like if like the president addresses
Yep.
the
Yeah.
nation, that'll take over.
If I am in a live board and I am controlling everything that's going on, and the whole signal is being sent out from what's in front of me, and EAS kicks on, that signal's dead from my board. It automatically shuts it down, and overrides what everyone's hearing. That's how EAS works. My question is,
How does it work if I'm like playing Fortnite on my PlayStation and I'm like hooked up to the internet, but I'm
it's
not?
not going to come through on your.
Not gonna come
not
through?
gonna come through on Fortnite. No,
President's gonna like
that's not how
my
that works.
fellow Americans.
What a great little Easter egg in a movie that would be, if like that's how someone saw the EAS. They were playing Fortnite and the TV flashed. and-
yeah.
It was like
That's not how
I
that
don't know why
works. Yeah.
Obama was there. It's been a
Yeah.
couple of years now, but
Hey, he's
he's still pulling the strings.
yeah.
So that's the way EAS works. But the reason for it, obviously, is like primarily it was used on radio,
Mhm.
and then it got brought over to TV. And I'm sure we've all seen it on TV where, a flash flood warning comes across the bottom of your screen. It runs as a lower third. Or
Right.
like Jules said, if it's a presidential update, a lot of companies just cut their feed to that.
Right.
and then they're like, we now return you to this
Yeah.
Yeah.
thing currently in progress.
And naturally, I understand that the next progression of that, when cell phones started becoming major things, was like Amber Alerts, and to have these messages pop up as notifications now.
Yeah.
With FEMA, with all these different alerts that we get, like the Hawaii nuclear one or Hawaii missile one that wasn't actually a real thing,
Right.
but it was sent out on that signal. Do we need that? I don't think we need that in today's day and age. And I get the point is, if something like that was to happen, and say there was like a missile attack, right?
Mhm.
The point is to notify everyone in the general area or citizens in general that something is happening
Yeah.
to alert you as fast as possible.
Right.
But in today's day and age, if that's happening, it's already going out over EAS. So if you're in the car and the radio's on, it's happening. If you're watching TV, it's happening. But if you're not and you're just on your phone, it's still going to be all over it.
It's going to be on Twitter.
Yeah.
it's gonna be
Right.
on
It's gonna be
Facebook.
anything. It's gonna
Yeah.
be on anything that you would be looking
Yeah.
at,
You're going to see it.
unless you're
May-
like playing a game or something on your
Right.
phone. Right. There's only a couple, or like text. I don't even know.
And,
yeah.
and that's the case, too. Is so if you're playing a game and you get an Amber Alert and you have headphones on, you're not going to get it anyway, right?
Right. Interesting. So then, how does it like? Do you? Okay, it probably doesn't work like this, but I'm wondering if the government or what, like, I wonder if even in a country like North Korea or something like that, do they have the power to, if I'm on my phone, can they just pop up on my screen like presidential message? Connected to my phone, connected to like cellular towers, and do they
As
have
in like a message?
even like a video feed, like
I
Jules
don't-
is saying? Do
I
they
don't know
have
about
the
that.
ability to do that via
I
cell
know they can do
phones?
that with TV, but not if it's like a
Right.
streaming service.
I'm
Like,
sure they can.
Like if I'm even on my home screen or something like that, and just like,
it's
obviously,
probably a possibility.
obviously
honestly.
nothing like that has never happened,
Right.
and we don't know the
Right,
possibility.
I think
of
that's
it,
exactly
but-
what it is. I'm sure somewhere in the inner workings of the federal government and telecommunications, it is possible.
Right,
Will we ever see it? I don't know.
right,
But, it's just like we talked about with the presidential message. People turned their phone off and still got that message.
Right.
It activated and rang despite their phone being off. You can turn all the trackers you want, all the maps off you want on your phone. You can turn 5G, 3G, whatever you
Right.
have off on your phone,
Right.
and it's still going to track you. They can still ping where you're at.
right,
Like,
right.
That's the thing about it is it's going to be able to get that message because we are operated by the Federal Communications Commission. We're
Yeah.
operated by the FCC.
Right.
And if not the FCC, a different department, subdivision that monitors that specific medium.
Yeah.
So, there is going to be a way to get that message to you
That's so
if they want
spooky.
to.
That's so spooky. Our phones could be off.
Yeah.
All of our phones could be off, and like, okay,
If they
again,
have a notification they deem worthy, they could push it through.
Right. We don't know this, but theoretically, if you want to talk hypothetical land, they could just pop a video up on your phone.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and we couldn't click our lock button. Wild.
Yeah. And it's not like sending a code to an Apple to make it restart either.
Yeah.
216-859-8699 if you want to send us a spooky message.
You're listening to the Rebel Radio Show.
You know, for the third week in a row, I'm just chugging ayahuasca. It's a crutch.
Would you do an ayahuasca
No.
tour thing?
No.
So immediately ready to turn that heel. Just so immediately, not even a thought.
He's
Grace's
watched
head.
so many
It
videos.
was so like instantly no. Obviously not, dipshit. Why would I ever consider? What makes you think I would ever consider that? The fact that I say constantly that I'm presently doing ayahuasca? Maybe. I don't know.
We're talking about gamma radiation now.
Ooh, okay.
The Hulk has it.
Yeah, I love Bruce and what he's done with himself recently with the whole big and green thing. I think it's a nice fashion choice that he's done.
The Incredible Hulk from
Yeah.
2003
Yes.
is not the Incredible Hulk in the MCU. Those are separate entities.
They are the same entity. It is a different actor. So,
I thought the 2009 Hulk.
oh, maybe it is I'm sorry, it is the
Okay.
2009 Hulk, because what I know, my knowledge of the Hulk being in like the Marvel movies is, they did the Incredible Hulk, or they did whatever.
The Incredible Hulk is the 2003 one.
Okay, they did Hulk,
Mm-hmm.
under the guise of Kevin Feige, and it was going to be the next installment in the Tony Stark. Like they were saying, they were laying the seeds, but Kevin Feige specifically said, "No, don't use this guy." But the director, had already like written the script with him in mind, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the actor was already like going out and saying that he was doing it and wanted to be involved. Edward Norton.
Yes. Edward
And-
Norton's Hulk.
And so they were like, well, fuck it, we have to run with it. But when the Avengers come, we're going to change it to Mark Ruffalo.
Interesting.
And they did.
So they had him in mind already, Mark Ruffalo.
I don't know if they had specific...
They just knew they were going to change it.
They might have. It was just more a situation of they knew that they didn't want Edward Norton, and he did it anyway.
Here's the thing. I like Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
I think I like Edward Norton's Hulk better. Because it's not Mark Ruffalo's face pasted on the Hulk.
Yes. No, it's just a very generic Hulk face. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
not talking about Marvel at all in this segment, by the way.
I could keep going, but yeah, we don't have to. We don't. That's not what we came here to do.
That was a
technically,
decent amount of time.
you know,
That's 6 minutes.
that's not that bad.
That's fine.
Yeah, I could.
We always
That's
take
our-
6 minutes to talk about the Hulk.
I think that's our longest tangent. Or you're good.
No.
I could go longer if you want.
Hey, you want to keep talking about the Hulk?
No.
We could scrap all the plans we had and just talk about the lore of the Hulk for the entire third segment here.
Well, it's just very unfortunate that it's not Sony that has the rights. It's Paramount.
It can't be Fox, so
It's another big brand that has the rights to the Hulk, and so
which is something that isn't talked about a lot. Because
So,
I guess they do play well enough.
Tesla, right?
yeah, Jules Tesla. That's a good. It's a good statement. I like that, and I agree.
Yeah, I agree too. So when the Hulk is red,
Yeah, that's another thing. He's not gonna have the mustache.
Oh my god.
So literally, Red Hulk isn't canonically in the comics. Red Hulk has a big burrowing mustache,
yeah,
and the only reason
most versions,
versions, the only reason that he doesn't in the movie and the new Captain America that's coming out
yeah,
is because
Ford
Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones,
didn't want to grow a mustache.
didn't want to fucking grow a mustache. He was like, I'm indie. I don't need to do that shit. I'm Blade Runner. Fuck
I like
you.
how Harrison Ford doesn't actually want to do anything, but he does it.
Yeah, he does it anyway.
Didn't want to do the last Indiana Jones. He's like, but I'm gonna come back and do it anyway. 'Cause
He's
who
just,
else?
He's just giving his grandkids money. That's all it
Yeah.
is. Here,
It's
take
that-
$1 million.
It's like when you're given a Tesla to try and go do maneuverability, and then the fucking DMV's like, "Hey, you're not really driving."
Whoever does post on these things, put some applause in there because that was a really good segue.
I do post on all of these.
All right, well, Style, I love you. post, Style and Post, I love you. Yeah.
Tesla driving teen denied driver's license because car has, quote, too many safety features.
What?
Yeah, the
I
teenager went to the
honestly-
DMV to take his driving test, and the car was deemed to have too many safety features for him to pass the driving test.
Why would you ever take your driver's test in a Tesla?
Because that's
Right.
probably the car he was given.
Right. That's probably the car. It's probably both right. And I think, like, it's such a new... I'm surprised it hasn't popped up before.
Yeah.
And it probably has, and we just haven't heard about it. But, like, this is such a weird new age issue where the instructor has to say, this car is too advanced to be on the road with an inexperienced driver.
Yeah.
So you need not a smart car.
You need a shitty car.
You need a shitty car.
That's the crazy thing about first cars. And in general, I've had this thought of, you have those people that go out and if they're going to buy their son or daughter their first car,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll specifically go like, oh, what is the highest rated safety feature this year of the car, right?
Right.
Does it come with the automatic braking and
Right.
the blind side assist, and does it come with all this stuff?
Right.
That's all well and good. What I'm concerned about is if this car gets hit, how well is it going to take that hit?
Yeah.
That's what I'm concerned about. Because, and that's why I kind of agree with this article. the car can have all the features they want for safety.
Sure.
It can have automatic braking. It can have a beeper if I'm going over the line. It can put me back in line like a lot of the Teslas do now. It can have autopilot in it for all I care.
Right.
If I don't know the basics how to operate that car, none of it's going to matter.
Right, exactly.
Because something fails and
Exactly.
I'm flying down the highway at 80 miles per hour, the only thing stopping me and the car in front of me is me.
Right. I wonder if there was like a similar outrage when automatic transmissions became
Ooh,
more
interesting.
popular. Because I've only ever driven stick a couple times. I don't really know how. I wish I did.
Driven is a loose term to use for what you did.
Listen, pal. But I feel like you learn how to, or at least you should, theoretically, in a perfect world, you learn how to drive a car on stick.
Yeah.
And then if you want to, you can get an automatic transmission because it's way easier to drive and way less complicated, but it's still the same thing conceptually.
Yeah.
It's still the exact same. It's just way more watered down.
Yeah.
And then if you're experienced enough after that, you can get, like, there should be tiers on your driver's license or something like that. Can have automatic transmission. Can have auto drive. Like, oh, you've retired? You can now have auto driving now, if you would like.
Interesting.
I think that
No, that's a really good theory.
I think that it should be like a government tier list almost. Like, you have to learn how to drive stick when you're 16. You're youngest and most prepped and ready to do something like that.
Yeah.
Once you've learned stick and you master it and you drive enough to feel comfortable driving stick, and maybe when you're 25, the age people are granted the ability to rent a car, then you can get an automatic transmission if you want. And then 65 is autopilot, or 40s, 50s is like a maneuverability, or what's it called?
What's maneuverability?
Self-parking.
Oh.
The where it backs you in,
Parallel parking.
Yeah, the self-parallel park and shit, like it can have tiers to it.
So the article says that the one thing that outright failed the driving test was regenerative braking.
That shit is so... I don't know if you have ever driven a car, or if any listeners of home have driven a car with the regenerative braking. That shit is the most confusing, like, scary thing about driving a car like that.
I feel like we've touched on this before, but that
Yeah.
can outright kill someone.
If you don't know how it works, you can come to a screeching halt on the highway.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I can go legitimately from 60, 70 to 0 in maybe 2 seconds.
So the
three maybe.
Yeah.
So if I'm on a highway and I just let go of the gas pedal too much, bing, someone's rear-ending me hard.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very, and like, that was something that when I got into the car wasn't told to me at first.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I had to get in and realize, like, at first I was using the brake, and then maybe like 5 minutes into the trip when I got onto the road, I was like, I don't even need to use this. I was at a red light and my feet were off of any pedals.
I hate that.
I wasn't touching both of my feet were on the ground, and I was at a red light stopped.
That's
It was
terrifying.
I wasn't in park. It was
Yeah.
the strangest thing ever.
Well, and I don't know if this falls into the same category as regenerative braking, but when you get too close to a car and it starts slowing it down for you,
Yeah, I
because
think
it's deemed proximity.
probably can fall somewhere in the same concept.
But what the DMV instructor is saying when they got in the car to do the test drive, take it out on the what do you call it? Not test drive, driving test.
Driving
Yeah, driving
test.
test.
Yeah, when they take it out on the road to do
The
driving
road
test.
exam.
Road exam, sure. Before they even left the parking lot, they had 2 marks down on their paper
Oh my gosh.
for the car slowing down.
Oh my god.
For the
Yeah,
car
because he's
slowing to a
probably
brake.
taking his foot off of the.
Yeah. And by
Oh
the
my
time they
God. Or
actually
she.
got onto the road and approached, I believe it was a stop sign or stop light, stop sign. They were approaching a stop sign, and he was braking, or the car was stopping way too soon.
Yeah.
And that's when the driver told the instructor that I'm not even braking, the car is doing that.
Right.
So like by the time they had pulled out of the parking lot into the first stop sign, they'd failed the test already
That's so
because the car was
unfortunate.
saying, "Oh, you're braking. You want to stop."
That's so unfortunate, and that's something to me that just feels like that particular person taking the test hadn't driven that car enough.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah,
to
for
drive.
sure.
You need to drive that. That feels like a first timer thing to like jerk the, because like sure I did that for the first couple of minutes in the parking lot maybe, and so I can understand this person getting 2 points. But once I was out on the road, I realized what was going on. Like I wasn't gonna let myself get on the road if I didn't realize how the car worked.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's the important thing too. Is like you have to take in cars. Do you have to take in cars in general?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is that
It's
just if you're going through class?
No, to get your license, you have to take
in
Yeah,
cars?
you have to take, I think, at least 5. At least, and I think it's a state-by-state thing, but you have to take at least 3 in cars, maybe 5 even.
I took 4, I know.
Oh, maybe it was 4. Maybe it's 4 then. I don't know.
But for my first one, I took the in-car or whatever.
Mhm.
But for my next 3, I had the same in-car person, instructor and car, because I talked to them and I'm like, oh, this is just different from the first one I drove. And they're like, yeah, no, it makes sense for you to drive the same fucking car. So let's just schedule all 3 of them with this car.
Right.
Because it doesn't make... When I took my driving test and all my maneuverability and everything like that, I took it in the car that I was going to have.
Right.
Because it wouldn't make sense for me to go and pass my driving test in
Yep.
a Kia Soul if I'm going to be driving a Mustang.
Right.
Those aren't the same car. That's not going to prepare me to handle that car.
Right.
I think that's a big thing that people overlook too, and it's the common, the work around the system to get the smallest car you can to do your driving test in, because you can
Right.
whip through maneuverability and it's easier to handle.
Right.
That's all well and good. Congratulations, you got your license. It's the same thing as lying on your resume. If you don't know how to do
Yes.
the job once you're there, you're
exactly.
screwed.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
Driving
fast-
is something I don't fuck around with.
Yeah.
It's because it's serious and it's like it's fun. I enjoy it, but you also have to take it seriously and know what you're doing to have that fun.
Right.
I think
So I passed my maneuverability in a Ford Expedition, but I failed the road portion. And then I ended up coming back and taking the road portion in a Ford Escape.
Man, I never failed
Or
any
not a
driving
Ford Escape,
tests.
I'm sorry, a Ford Fusion for the road test.
Failed that L's test 6 whole times, baby. 6 motherfucking.
Was there a reason why?
Genuinely, I've told the story on air, right?
I don't know if you have. I don't know if you've told this story.
Let me try to brush through it
Yeah,
as
yeah.
quickly as possible, because I know that I've told you guys it off of the air, not off air, but so I did all my in-cars really quickly, and I got my temps as soon as I was 15 and a half. And so when I was 16, I hadn't driven in a while because I hadn't taken I had already taken all my in-cars already. It was all done, and I was just kind of like floating. I was
Just waiting.
Right, just waiting. And I wasn't driving that much, which I should have been. My first test, I had it with 2 female instructors, both in police uniforms. Like, they were definitely worked for the DMV still,
Yeah.
but they were in full police attire. And so I am immediately shaking in my boots. It's a terrifying situation, and I hadn't driven in who knows how long.
Right.
I do my maneuverability, and I completely butcher it. I'm fucking the whole thing up, and one of the ladies goes, because I have one next to me in the passenger and then one behind me. One of the ladies goes, okay, well, you didn't pass that, but let's do the on-road. And I forget what it was with that
I do
one.
remember this now.
I forget what it was specifically with that one, but I failed the on-road. She was essentially just like, yeah, okay, you failed, turn around, go back.
Wasn't it like you pulled out too far or something like that? Was that it?
That one was one of the other. Second
sorry.
time.
Didn't want to jump the gun. My
No,
bad.
you're fine. You're fine. Second time, I passed maneuverability, but then I failed the on-road because the guy ticked me too many times for, like, I put on my turning signal too early. He was being a real stickler. So,
Yeah,
like, that
yeah.
one I probably would have been fine, but the guy was definitely being an ass. Like, he marked me on shit for my maneuverability, too. That was kind of sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
The guy was definitely just a prick and, like, was marking me on shit that was very unnecessary or, like, too early stopping,
Yeah.
too early. Weird shit. And that's how I failed it. It wasn't anything major. The third time, I pulled out in front of traffic, and the lady, like, literally, I would have T-boned myself. I pulled out over 3 lanes out of the parking lot and the middle turning lane, and there was, like, a white van coming right for us. The lady held onto the thing. And then as soon as we got to the side streets, she starts ticking and she's like, okay, make a left, turn back into the parking lot. You know exactly what you did. Here's your temps. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that was really bad. Don't do that shit
You
again.
didn't have to sit there and take all of them.
Right.
You knew what you did.
And then fourth time, I passed it with flying colors. I'm passing through an intersection, and the guy turns and asks me, he's like, why did you fail these other times? Like, you did so well on this one. And I was like, I don't know. I think I would turn to him. I don't know. I think I'm just nervous. Like, I don't know what happened. And I pull into the parking lot, park, and he's like, all right, well, you failed. And I was like, what'd I do? And he's like, you ran that red light back there. And when he asked me that question, I turned to look at him,
Hell yeah.
and I blew through an open red light at an intersection. And he was like, you would have passed it. Like, did literally perfect.
It was his fault.
It was 100. He was testing me.
He did the setup.
Had
He's
to
like,
wait.
oh, this thing's yellow.
Yeah.
Let's ask.
I forget what happened on the 5th time, but then the 6th time I passed it. So I had to
That's
wait.
crazy.
I had to wait over a year or I had to wait 6 months legally, and then I waited
That's
over
right,
a
yeah.
year. I waited. I think I got it when I was 20, so I waited 3 years. I waited kind of a while.
That's a crazy set of unfortunate circumstances.
I was so pissed that the fact that he asked me that question and then I had to wait 6 months that I was like, I just held it off for years.
Yeah, that would have been the one too.
I was
for
like,
me.
fuck this. I don't even care. I'll get rides. Like, this
Yeah.
is stupid. I'll have a self-driving car. Fuck this.
I only
Yeah.
failed once.
Oh, I fucked it up a whole bunch of times. But this does lead to, like, the self-driving
Yeah.
and the regenerative brakes, and, like, it moves you into certain lanes that are away from. This is a problem for new drivers.
how
You're not
about
going to
this?
learn how to drive a car properly.
How about this? I think this would be a good safeguard for this. And maybe not perfect, but I think it would reduce the risk of things in this exact circumstance
Mm-hmm.
happening. You have to be 25 to rent a car, which is stupid.
Yeah.
But you have to be 25 to rent a car. I think you should have to be 25 to be in a self-driving car or a car with certain features.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
To be
agree.
behind the wheel of it.
I agree.
Like, if you're even if you own the car, you are the legal owner of that car. You
Doesn't
can
matter.
buy it.
Doesn't matter. You have to be
yeah.
25.
Yeah,
I like that.
Cop pulls you over. You're 18, driving a self-driving Tesla.
Right.
You're gonna have to call someone to take the car.
You can drive that Tesla with someone else in it. Like
Sure.
if you
Yeah.
have
Sure.
your temps, you can drive
Yeah.
that. You can be like you have like a AI temps or something like that, like a special features temps.
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
where you can drive a car that has regenerative brakes and shit like that, but someone else has to be in the passenger seat who's over 25.
Right.
That would be a good.
Yeah.
That makes sense and would eviscerate problems like this.
Yeah, I still think you'd have a lot of people that, number one, either wait till they're 25 then,
Yeah.
or you'd have a lot of people that, as soon as they're 25, they go out and get a self-driving car and rely heavily on it.
Well,
You still have those people, but I think it would be a lot less risk than brand new driver not learning how to drive, relying on the car.
maybe I'm wrong in this, but and maybe I just don't have a good scope or a good gauge too, and this is kind of unrelated. But
Maybe
I feel
12.
like younger people aren't getting their license as much, I don't think.
I've
I think-
noticed that.
I think it's becoming more not a trend, but just like a happening, something that is occurring without any intentional doing, that people are just less motivated to get their license.
Well, you got to remember too, and this is kind of a different issue, but we live in Ohio, and you
Mhm.
drive everywhere,
Right.
regardless if you're in the city or you're in the country part of Ohio. You
Right.
drive everywhere.
Right.
I know a lot of people that don't have their license just
Mhm.
because they're in New York or they're
Yeah,
in
right.
Chicago,
Right.
and they don't need a license.
And I think that is valid. If you're someone who like was born and bred in New York, and like that you lived on the streets of Queens or
Yeah.
whatever, and you walk to your job or bike to your job, sure, do that. You don't need your license, but
Which it's crazy to me though that like that's fine and that's understandable. I get
Mhm.
the logic behind it, but not being like, I don't know, 30 and you lived in New York your whole life, and worst case scenario you legally cannot operate a car. I think that's crazy to me because you said, oh, well, what's the point of getting a license if I'm taking the bus or walking everywhere?
yeah, maybe.
Like, God forbid you go on vacation and you
yeah,
need a
right.
rental
You
car.
need to rent a car. No, I 100% I do see that. I think it's becoming less popular because shit like that isn't as.
Well, I've even noticed, like, living in Ohio, needing to drive everywhere. There's a bigger majority now of people not
I
getting
do know
their
a lot of
license.
people not. I know people our age without
Yeah.
a license.
That's what I'm saying. I know people our age and even a little bit younger, or people who are turning 16
Yeah.
who
And
are
they're just not getting
choo-
their license.
choosing not to get their license.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I couldn't fucking
Hmm.
wait to get my license.
yeah, no, I was
When,
stoked.
as soon as I was 15 and a half, I went and got my temps.
Exactly. I was stoked.
On my birthday, I'm pretty sure.
I know-
Yeah, me too. I was stoked. It was
I
a
know
huge
lot
deal.
of people wait until they're 18 because you don't have to do a lot of the
You don't have to do the driving
requirements.
school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that aspect.
And
of it.
that's fair. That's valid.
I had to pay for driving school out of pocket, and I remember
Yeah.
it was like $500 and something dollars for
Yeah.
driving school, and it was a bitch. And it was
I-
only like 8 weeks.
I cheated through the written portions of driving school.
Really?
Like on the big tests and stuff like that. There was a buddy from our high school that went to the same driving school as me, and so we would just like he would give me answers to the old tests and shit like that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
We never did anything in my driving school, in my classes. We literally watched videos every time, and then
Oh,
I think we had
really?
one written test at the end, but it was
Really?
like 8 questions, the simplest test.
We did a lot of testing in mine.
Yeah, we had testing and like there was a break and everyone would go across the street to get snacks and then we would come back and there'd be like more. It was just an old dude lecturing.
Really?
Yeah.
We literally just watched videos.
I wish. At
That's
the end
all
of
I
it,
did.
At the end of it, we watched the Bill Cosby comedy segment.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I forget what it's about, but
I think mine was a combination of both of yours because we watched a lot of videos of car crashes and people dying, and then
Oh, we didn't watch that.
really,
No.
we had to get like a signature from our parents to watch the video because it had dead
oh,
bodies.
that's wild.
No, mine was just very boring. Like the basics of stopping.
In it. Oh
That's
wow!
very interesting that
They were
driving
very dated
schools-
videos.
Driving schools can be different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Depending on which driving school you go to, different like rhetoric.
Well, listen, I want to know your driving experience. 216-859-8699. Let me know how you had to get your license, or if you have a license at all.
Yeah.
And then send me those funny little numbers on there, and then your
Yeah.
Social Security as well.
Yeah,
we,
yeah,
We
right.
promise we won't,
It'll be fine.
commit identity theft.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine.
216-859-8699. We really need to start putting the satire disclaimer on the live radio show as well. But if you want to hear that, you can listen to the Rebel Podcast. It comes out every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on all major platforms. Of course, that's the first hour of the Rebel Radio Show. We're live every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern right here on WSRR Radio. It's the home of underground music. We're saving the underground music scene. We're nationally local. That means your local bands played worldwide. And we also have a great variety of our own shows, independent produced radio shows that we play here on WSRR Radio. Shows like Shaney's Off Air.
That is the truth, Ruth.
We have the Pigeonhole, and of course we have the Rebel Radio Show as previously mentioned. But if you want the full schedule breakdown for showtimes and more, WSRRradio.com is going to be the homepage where you can find all of that, as well as all the great podcasts we produce there, as well as all of our awesome sponsors like Synergy Music Studio out of Chicago, GenericClothes.com, and Hellbender Vinyl out of Pittsburgh, PA. And for more information on all of those, again, they're all linked to our homepage, WSRRradio.com. You can also get all of our social medias there as well, including the Discord server. We can chat with us about all those shows and a variety of different topics like liminal spaces, Fallout, Marvel, wrestling, pretty much anything. There's a whole meme page, and of course there's a big conspiracy page as we approach October. It's going to be all conspiracies all October long. That's 2 each radio show. 1 hour each. You're probably going to hear more of that.
That's the new one. That's the one for this year.
And you're going to hear True Vault Escapades at 10 p.m. weeknights right here on WSRR Radio. It's the Fallout-based radio drama. It takes place in-universe. They've made a bunch of leaps and strides. They have voice actors from all over the world doing amazing work, and they have the backing of creators from the Fallout series and voice actors from the Fallout series as well that have vocally supported them, as well as being added to the Fallout Fan Wiki, which WSR Radio is now a part of as well.
Hey, look at that.
So make sure you check out True Vault Escapades 10 p.m. weekdays every weeknight right here on WSRR Radio. And until next time, I've been Radio's Rebel DJ Style. To my right, Shinny.
Bye, everyone.
On the board is Jules.
Adios.
Peace.